Hello, this is my Peavey T-15. This is a vintage guitar. It's just about as old as I am. It's from 1983 or 84, made in America. And so this guitar, it came in a case that has like a built-in amp. And it's a very short scale and has like a very narrow fretboard. So it's definitely kind of intended as a student guitar. But these pickups, they're called the Super Ferrites, and they sound pretty cool. They're kind of P90-ish sounding, kind of mid-rangey. But I got this when I was playing in a band called James Rabbit in Santa Cruz, California. And I was mostly the bass player usually, but sometimes I would play guitar. And so then I would play this one. And then I moved here to Iceland, and I started my band Just Another Snake Cult. And this is the guitar I used for all the Just Another Snake Cult stuff, all the electric guitar at least. And so yeah, I've played this guitar a ton. It's kind of weird for me to play it now because I guess I've gotten used to again playing like a full-size guitar. So the short scale and the narrow fretboard is kind of cramped because I do have kind of thick fingers. So it's kind of cramped for me. So I kind of set this up really nice for my stepson because he wanted to start learning to play guitar. And the first thing he said is like, oh, it's really heavy. And it's like something I would never think about. But yeah, it is really heavy, especially for like a small guitar, and especially for somebody to learn on. So my plan here, my project that I want to do is I want to do like a Mosrite-style German carve. So like just like get these like contours on the body, and I've designed a new pick guard, kind of a more Mosrite-style pick guard. This one's already, it came broken, and it's just gotten more broken. So this pick guard needs to get replaced anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna do an irreversible modification of this vintage guitar, but these things don't go for much. They're not very valuable. So I think it's okay. So I'm gonna refinish it. So these didn't come. I don't think they came in this dark, like wine red color. And I can kind of see where it's chipping off. That before it was red, it was a metallic gold, and before that, there seems like there's a white, and maybe that's just the primer. And they did come in just like this natural finish, so it might have just been that originally. And this color has kind of grown on me, and it's kind of cool. It's got these like it's got like an alligator skinning or like cracking. So I don't know. It's got like a really authentic it is an authentic what do they call it, relicking, but it's old and very unprofessional paint jobs, but it's cool. But yeah, I'm gonna have to, if I'm gonna start carving this thing, I'm gonna have to refinish it. So I'm gonna miss the sticker, Swampy. Who before that went by Swamp Donkey, artist. He was in Santa Cruz when I was there. And here's kind of a cool detail you can see from the back is that it's two pieces of maple glued side to side, actually. Instead of like Fender, they would just route out, I think, a slot for the truss rod. And then glue another piece of wood just in that channel. And then in the later Fenders, they would have a rosewood fretboard glued onto the top so that the truss rod channels from the top. But here it's side to side instead of top to bottom sandwich. Here you can see when I was setting this up last, I think the micro tilt was bottomed out. And so I added like shims to the micro tilt. I had like pieces of plastic to like make it even thicker where it attaches here. And so yeah, that's not an ideal solution. So ideally I wouldn't use the micro tilt at all, so I'd have better contact, and I can have it totally clamped down and in the spot I want it. Alright, so I got all the hardware off, except for the grounding wire, which can stay, and these pins. And normally with like a 2 pneumatic style bridge, this thing doesn't want to focus, you can use these pins to, because they'll have like a lip that you can stick a screwdriver or something, or some sort of wrench or screwdriver under, and you can kind of wedge the whatever it's called, the metal inserts out of that are in the body. You can kind of pull them out, but this thing's just straight, so that's not going to help at all. So I have no idea how I would get these out, unless I found like a bolt that's that size, which I don't think I'll find. So I think I'm going to be stuck just leaving these in, and I won't be able to move the bridge even if I wanted to, and I don't think I wanted to, because it seems, knowing me, I would probably make a mistake. It would be off by a millimeter in some direction, and it might not be a good alignment. And so I do want to route this a little deeper, and then the bridge can sit a little closer to the body. I want to do this German carve, and then I want to do a new pick guard that will kind of give it more of a Mosrite-y look, and also the new pick guard will let me do the German carve over here, whereas the other one's too close to the edge. So my new pick guard design will give me more space to do a German carve around this horn here, and then I think, because this thing is so heavy, I don't know how to describe how heavy this is. Just think about a Les Paul, and then like, why does this guitar that's smaller than a Les Paul and thinner than a Les Paul weighs way more than a Les Paul? You know, it's ridiculous. So I think everywhere where there's a pick guard, I'm going to route out I'm going to do as much routing as possible just to reduce the weight. But yeah, definitely want to get the weight down on this thing as much as possible, because it's ridiculous. You know, especially considering, I mean, like, I don't notice that type of thing, but like the type of person who would play this guitar, like this is a student guitar, it's for like children, like they can't do that. They're gonna feel that weight. It's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be cumbersome for them. Which is even just like lugging it around to like lessons and stuff. That's really bad. And actually, it came in a case, a molded case with a built-in amp, and that thing is also way too heavy for a student. And then with this thing combined, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm gonna try and make it lighter. I'm gonna make it it's gonna be my test. It's gonna be my first test at trying to do a German carve. Okay, so the idea is I'll take this. It's called a cove bit, and it's got a bearing here, so I won't go too far. And then I'll kind of take that around the edges, and then at the edge of the horns, I'll make sure it like comes to a point. So I'll back off on the point. I think that's what kind of sets like a Mosrite off from like a lot of the knockoffs, is that they just go around. But I definitely want to get it coming to like a sharp point on the horns here. And in the process, there's like some giant gouges in the body under the current finish, so those will hopefully just get carved away, and this thing will be looking classy hopefully when I'm done with it. Alright, I decided to weigh it, so I'd have a point of reference for how much weight I remove from the body. So right now, without any hardware, it's 2.13 kilograms. Here's the cool thing about these Peavey super ferrite pickups, these guys. I don't know if they'll use these in any other guitar. I haven't seen it, at least. Maybe they have. But they're designed that you could use 2 screws instead of 1, and then you could adjust the angle, which kind of makes sense because they're pretty wide. So that's kind of cool. So if I make a new pickguard, I could find screws that are the right size and springs and everything. I could use 4 instead of 2 per pickup to make that adjustable. Alright, so here's the guitar. I've got a heat gun. I've got this old chisel. And I'm going to hope that will work to loosen up the paint and then scrape it off without gouging the wood, because I don't have to sand out a bunch of gouges, because I know sanding is not fun. Alright. That's cool. So you can see the gold that was painted over the natural finish at some point. So I guess it was gold, and then the cream color, and then the wine red. it's like butter. I don't want to breathe in a bunch of burnt paint fumes out of it. So I need to go slower, faster, I don't know, lower heat. That's cool. It doesn't really capture on the video, but it's got like a what's left once I got the red paint off is like you can see the wood grain, but you can also it's like a metallic gold, just kind of transparent. Yeah, and you can see it's quite a bit. A lot of they used a lot of boards together to make. It's not like a one-piece body. It's like 1, 2, 3. It's like 4. But yeah, I guess, Peavey was a pioneer in just kind of automating guitar making. So like, I think they were the first people to use like a CNC machine instead of having to cut it by hand and stuff. And so that's how they were able to start making like affordable electric guitars, which is, where we're at today. Alright, that's one side down. You can see that the body shape is very much a reverse Mosrite kind of style when you see it kind of like this. Man, that's cool. That gold with the whatever it's called, the cracks in it, and too bad. Too bad I'm gonna cover it up. But yeah, that's cool. One side down. That was really easy. I'm not exactly sure how I'll do the rim, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Alright, so I've got a couple bits that I can use. I've got this cheap kit that has a 1/4" cove bit, and then I have this 1/2" radius cove bit. And so I'm thinking all around where the pick guard is, I'm probably gonna have to use the 1/4" because it's just gonna be really tight here and around here. But for all the rest, it's probably a wider radius is probably gonna do the trick. So I'm thinking I'm gonna maybe start around here, kind of see how it's looking. I guess it should all be the same depth. Alright, so I've been thinking about it. So what I'll do first is I'll just take this cove bit and go at this depth, just flush with the top, just around where the pickguard's going to be, and just see how that's starting to look. And then from there, I'll make decisions whether I want to go further deeper down, and that'll help me decide how deep I want to go on the other edges. So that's where I'll start. So here I'm just kind of drawing kind of vaguely where I think the point should be. So I have to be careful to pull off the bearing guide when nearing this corner, so that I can form this kind of point. I guess I'll do the same on this one. This one I want more of a pronounced. I want it to. I want it to be over here. Aiming for kind of this area, I guess, and then get like this kind of radius in here. Hopefully that'll help. Hopefully I'll be able to see that when I'm routing. But yeah, I'll start on this one and see if it works. So that looks kind of cool. And then I'll meet it from the other side and kind of create a point. So yeah, I think that's gonna work. That already looks cool. Looks like a good depth, but maybe I'll go deeper, maybe I won't. So this corner I'll just do like a tad of round over, and so the pickguard will almost meet this corner. And so I'll just round over just like a millimeter, just so that the pickguard isn't like, so it's not like steps. It's just like a step down and then like kind of a curve. Hell yeah, so that's looking pretty awesome. So it meets at this point, and then I'll sand it so that it's a little smoother transition, and then I kind of tapered it off towards this point because I didn't want to mess with this neck pocket stuff. So yeah, I guess I'll continue just this line. I'm just using the guide bearing then all the way to where the pickguard ends. This radius is definitely a good amount, I think, for the edge with the big pickguard. So the new pickguard, I'll have to fill this hole here. I think the new pickguard will only go out to like around here-ish. So yeah, all right. Alright, so what I think I will do is I will try to just to start off with, I'll continue this kind of cove around the whole thing, just to kind of start the carve, and then that way I'll know exactly how deep the wider radius bit should be going, and so yeah. The tricky part's going to be here, where there's this it's already carved for the shoulder, your arm carve, or whatever it's called. So I can't just like kind of go flat along this because the angle changes and stuff. So I'm going to do this part, and then I'm going to think about taking a piece of wood that's flat and screwing it to the bottom of the router so that I can kind of just project it off of this flat surface and use that as the reference to continue the curve around here. But that'll be with the bigger round cove bit, because this one won't even probably touch this stuff if I do that over here. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. That's already looking really, really cool. So yeah, I'm happy with how this is going so far. Alright, so I'm just using my calipers here to kind of measure the height, and then I'll just lock that down, and then I'll put the other cove bit in the router and set it to the same depth, and so I'll at least use that as a starting point, and then that should at least let me get in like a little wide, or so I can follow this line a little better in here as well, and make it like really kind of converge at this point. Alright, here's a big hiccup. This bit is too big to fit inside this base. I'm going to see if I take the plastic thing off, whether it'll fit through the hole. Then it might. Alright, I'll see what happens. Alright, so without the plastic thing on the base, it fits. Oh my god, that's really close though. I don't know if you can see, it's not going to focus, this stupid thing. It's really close, but it's not touching. I hope that's going to be alright. It's like a 0.5 millimeter. It's fine. It's okay. So I already checked the measurement here. I put it let me turn this so I can see it better. Okay, it's just a little, to back it off a little bit. Sorry, one-handed. Alright, so now it is the right depth. So that'll just give me, it'll just cut further in, but still hopefully it should meet the edge at the same depth. Alright, cool, let me try this. Cool, okay. Alright, so I'm going to use this piece to attach the router so I can get the projection of this plane around this edge where it's already been rounded over. So I'm just tracing the holes, screw holes, and then I'll use the same screws that hold on the plastic base to screw it to this one. I'll probably have to countersink them quite a bit because this piece of whatever this is too thick, but that shouldn't be a problem. Alright, I'm going to go do this. Alright, so I've got these 4 holes countersunk, and I don't know if you can see it, but I got the screws in there. Forgot to trace the middle hole, and so I'll just do that now. Now I just have to make a hole right here, and then I can attach the router and use that. Alright, cool. So I got the palm router's base attached to this piece of whatever this is, and the biggest drill bit I had was 1 inch, which is not big enough, but I think what I can do is just use the base to as a plunge guide, basically, and I'll just plunge that through with it on, and it'll just cut the hole the size it needs to be, and then I can set the level. Okay, so it bound up. Alright, after a little bit of problem solving, I got the hole large enough. I got the depth set roughly correct. Close enough. So yeah, this should, hopefully I'll be able to see what I'm doing through that tiny hole. I won't, but I don't really need to see what I'm doing, I just need to follow the guide. Alright, I'm going to try this. Alright, all that work just to discover that the current sort of curve to the body is already deeper than the depth of my cove cut. So I think that's okay. Or should I just go deeper the whole way around, just to kind of make this more pronounced on this area? I have to think, and I will be back. Alright, sorry, my phone battery died, but so yeah, I ended up going a little bit deeper with the cove bit, and then also in this area I kind of just let my jig tilt a little bit down lower, because just so that I would get some sort of cut right here. Otherwise this area was just too low and it wasn't reaching it. So I was just looking at some pictures of Mosrites, and kind of what I'm going to kind of follow, kind of vaguely their style. So like here, the transition out of here would be kind of more of like a chamfer, like kind of just going up at an angle, and then transition obviously very smoothly. But yeah, so I've got this like V bit that'll cut like 45, and so that like there won't be any like vertical area over here. The steepest will be 45, and then actually I'll probably tame the angle even more, make it even like more this way than 45 to transition to the top. And then over here, the transition would be even more gradual, like a very gradual transition from this depth over to here. So yeah, I'll probably start by just using some sort of bit to just knock out a bunch of wood, and then here I just want to like just round over this edge, and so this transition will kind of meet this one kind of where they both transition. So this one will be more gradual, this will be a little sharper. So yeah, next thing up is this V-bit, and I'm going to have to just do it by hand because there's no way I can get like a guide in there. So yeah, if I mess it up, if I do it too uneven, I guess what I can always do is just start over with the cove bit, the round guy, and just go a little deeper, and because that has a guide bearing, and I'll just erase all the sloppy stuff that I do now. If I'm way too sloppy going by hand, fingers crossed that I'm able to pull it off, just going smooth and yeah, knocking off this corner here. All right, so I'm gonna try it. Alright, so that definitely is bringing me closer to what I want. There is some unevenness, and that's mostly actually from the cove bit with the guide bearing. I guess I must have been rocking the router a little bit here and here. Hopefully that'll just get easily sanded out during the sanding phase. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing on this edge, just to get that closer to where I'm going to need to be. Alright, so that took a bit of material off this edge. For some reason, I was getting it was like getting sucked in and wanted to dig in right here, but I think it's okay. This is just what I'll have to, material I was going to have to remove anyway for this transition. So yeah, that definitely that reduces the amount of work I have to do by hand. Yeah, I guess I could go on this inside curve right here and just take that off just a little bit. And then I think I've got to start using a rasp or a grater or whatever it's called. Yeah, all right. So yeah, I have this rasp. I'm sure this is supposed to attach to a tool, but I don't have that. But I'm just gonna try this and see if I make any progress. Just kind of working this curve into the wood, and then let's see how it turns out. All right, just some progress. This thing never wants to focus, but yeah, this is quick work with this like rasp thing. I can, bend it and get into the curves. I don't know if you can see that, but that's starting to turn out pretty nice. So I'm just kind of working. There's a mistake I gotta fix, but yeah, at least this area where I've been working a bunch is transitioning really nicely. All right, gonna keep working. Looking at the neck pocket, it's really strange. I don't know if you can see it in here in the video, but there's like this part in the middle that's raised, and there's like lower on the edges. It's probably because just the router went through and did this, and then the middle separately or something. But that's strange. I think you'd want it all flat. So what I've done is I've taken my calipers and I've kind of found like a millimeter down from the top, and then I've just kind of scored it here. And you can see that there's just like this brighter part here where I've scored it. And so that'll be my reference and what I'll do is I'll just kind of sand this edge of it down until I have the neck pocket totally flat. And then also it'll change the angle so that the strings will meet the bridge at the right height, because right now I have to more than max out the whatever it's called, the tilt thing. And so yeah, that by sanding this, the guitar, I can maybe turn the neck and tighten it, and so that the strings aren't kind of hanging off the neck on the high part here. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. I've got this I've got this block plane that happens to be the right width of a neck, and I've not put the sandpaper all the way to the edge, and that way when I'm sanding it, I won't sand this edge, and so that'll be like a reference point. So this part won't go down, and then this part will go down and I'll use that line that I made as like a reference, so I'm not actually accidentally going down more on the left or the right hand side, or going way too far. I think a millimeter is like a good starting point, and then I'll put the neck on and check where things stand. Yeah. All right, so it's really starting to look Mosrite-y, huh? So I've been sanding it, and now I'm tackling the horns. I already started it, but the bits they left like kind of the edge didn't the edge was curving up at the tips. So I'm just taking the chisel and kind of shaping the horns a little bit more. I'm sorry that wasn't focusing, but basically this curve, you can kind of see it. It curves up instead of continuing to just be flat. So I'm just going to I'm just taking the chisel and kind of working it to get this line, sorry, to get this line consistent. So what I've been doing now is just taking this like sandpaper wrapped in around something round, just kind of going over all the contours to get everything smooth. 'Cause there was some unevenness from the router not being totally flat and stuff like that. I don't know. You can see with the shadow, it's just not very even. And as soon as I paint it, and it's like a flat shade of some color, you're going to see like any imperfection really strong. But I don't have the biggest patience for sanding, so we'll see what wins out, whether I just want to finish this and it'll just be lumpy and that'll be okay, or if I'll just take my time this time. But yeah, this is looking cool. Well, you know, you've got the. I wonder if I should kind of round this over a little more, or keep it like this sharp horn inside the round horn. Both of them. This one rounds over to the top quite a bit, and then the inside is kind of a sharper. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of turn it so the light hits it differently. Yeah, it's going well. I'm going to keep working on this. Alright, I'm going to declare my first attempt at a German carve success. This is really cool. Yeah, it's got this sharp line on the bottom horn and along the bottom, and then it kind of fans out to this more gradual thing on the top side. And then here it's a sharper than the top, but it's still pretty wide radius. It's funny, it doesn't really, you can't really see all the, doesn't really translate on camera, but in here, this looks cool. So you can see there's it's a little lumpy at the bottom here. You can see in the shadows, there's like a little unevenness. I think it's okay. It's my first attempt at a German carve. I've been sanding this forever now, and I think I'm going to say good enough. If I was going to do a lot of these, I would probably invest in some tools to help. Just hand sanding the insides of these curves is a real pain. But yeah, I broke my rasp, but this worked out really well. I could keep using it after I broke it. Getting it in the inside curves was a little tricky, but I could bend it a little bit, and that's how I ended up breaking it. I sanded this about 1 millimeter down. And now the neck should have more contact with the, at least on this edge, it should get better contact and all through the middle. So hopefully I can fix the alignment issue. Yeah, all right. So now I just need to decide what color scheme to go for. I'm pretty set on doing black surrounds around the pickups, I think. And then, so I just need to decide what color paint to do the body, and then what color pick guard to go with it. So if you have ideas of what colors to paint this, leave them in the comments, and I'll take it into consideration for when I get around to doing that. Alright, so now after stripping the paint and doing the German carve, so this is balanced, and now it's at 2.0. So So I reduced it by 130 grams. Okay. So I have some ideas of other things I can do. I can use a router and just stick the bit a little deeper, and then I can make little underhangs to remove some material that way. I could even just kind of drill at an angle and go in and like just remove material under here. Once I have my final pickguard shape cut out, I can route out all the area that's under the pickguard, and even do the same thing with underhangs, except for where the screws are going to go. I'm not exactly sure if there's any other things I can do to reduce the weight. I don't think, I was thinking about maybe making it chambered by routing out the back and making a little cover, but I don't know, it seems like a lot of work at this point. So we'll see. I mean, it's not that important that it's a lighter guitar, but the main purpose was just to do a test doing a German carve, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. A little burnout there. I think I sanded out like the unevenness, and it might be a little uneven still. It's some of the stuff, some of the unevenness, it just seems like no matter how much I sand, it just won't go away. And that's all. I think I'm not going to try to be a perfectionist here. I think I'm just going to be happy with the overall results. It was just my first test doing this, and I'm happy. I'm happy with the result. So one thing I could do still is kind of mark where this plate is, and just round over the edge of this of the body where the neck meets, just to make it a little more comfortable. I'm also seeing there's a little gash right here from when I was removing the paint that I want to sand out anyways. So yeah, that's one thing I can still do. So kind of just want to talk about this design flaw with the T-15. So what I did is I took I've taken the pickguard off, as you can see, and that allows you to put the bridge all the way down to the bottom. Normally the pickguard sits between the bridge and the body for some reason. And also I sanded down the neck pocket on this side by like almost a millimeter to give me more of an angle. And that combined gets me, a normal playing action with fairly light gauge strings on here right now. So that's, I mean, in my opinion, that's a huge design flaw, is that with the bridge at the height that you can normally set it at, because of the pickguard in between there, you have to crank the crap out of the micro tilt to get a reasonable amount of action. But right now I'm not using the micro tilt at all, and yeah, so I guess, yeah, that's just to me it just seems like a design flaw, and I don't really understand why they did it. Maybe they just wanted people to use the micro tilt a bunch or something. But yeah, this thing is looking cool with this German carve. So I'm gonna take a little break. I got really sick of sanding, but I definitely have to go through with finer grits and get rid of sanding lines. And there's a few spots where I need to go with the heavy sandpaper, the really coarse stuff, and just kind of fix some stuff like right here. You can't really see it, but it's kind of like goes a little bit deeper, so I have to like kind of just even it out. And there's a couple spots like that, and there's things like silver exposed one. Yeah, there's like a little gouge right there. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to get too caught up in the details. All right, so it's just taking some more look at the guitar. So here you can see with the stock pickguard, how the pick guard would normally sit under the bridge. So if you have one of these Peavey T-15s, you know, I think it's a really smart thing to do would just to cut the pick guard like around the bridge, so you can adjust the height of the bridge all the way down to the body. That'll give you more adjustment range, and that way you don't have like metal sitting on plastic, sitting on wood. You just have metal contacting the wood. Probably, you know, at least infinitesimally improve your tone or something. Let's see. It's really interesting that the screw holes for the pick guard are all countersunk, which means when I put on my redesign, I'm gonna have to fill a bunch of these screw holes, and they're a lot bigger than they have to be. So I don't know why they did that. And you can see on the backside of the pick guard, like because they're countersunk, kind of they've gotten pulled kind of into these holes. There's not like the wood pushing against it, and I think that's why like some of these are broken, just because of, you know, the countersinking. So I don't know why they did that. That seems like a design flaw as well. Okay, next thing, I was looking at the electronics here, and this is a really interesting circuit. So obviously the two pickups just go to the switch, and that chooses which pickup, or puts them in parallel if it's in the center, and then the hot signal comes here into the volume knob. And this is, I don't think I've ever seen a circuit like this. So here comes into the center lug of the volume knob. Okay, that's normal. And then you have the hot output into the jack from the left lug. So when the volume is totally up, you have no resistance between the pickup signal and the output. So it just, all the signal goes to the output, except for there's always this 250 resistance to ground, which is normal. But then the tone pot is connected here by a resistor, and there's no capacitor on the tone pot at all. So I'm not exactly understanding how this works. I've been looking at this for like 3 minutes, but like I'm just not grasping how the tone pot is putting anything. Usually there's a capacitor that shorts the high frequencies to ground, but I'm not seeing how that happens at all here. So there's this capacitor. So when you turn the volume down, it'll leak the. I think that acts as a treble bleed. So that'll leak the high frequencies to the output, even when there's resistance between the pickup output and the jack. But I don't see how having a resistor and then just resistance to ground. Yeah, I don't see at all how this works. So yeah, that'd be interesting if somebody's watching this can explain it to me. But it definitely works because I've been using it. So yeah, it's an interesting circuit. My plan is I want to add an extra switch to be able to put the pickups in series. And then I want to put another switch to be able to put them out of phase, so that you can get like Bohemian Rhapsody kind of settings, the Queen settings, like series, out of phase. I figure why not? I don't think it adds too much complexity to the project, and it adds a lot of versatility to the guitar. Putting them in series, that's great for like if you're going to put it through distortion or something. It gives you a hotter output and just a beefier signal with just more of the bottom and mid and less highs. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at here. So I'm gonna have to fill a lot of these holes. I'm not looking forward to that. And then yeah, with my pickup, with my pick guard design, I'm gonna have to fill this area here with like a little wood patch, because that's just going to be exposed. There's going to be a pickup surround around this pickup, and then the pick guard's going to come like at an angle right here. So yeah, this needs to be wood right there. I've been taking another look at my carve, and there's some interesting things, like, so there's this ridge, this kind of like shelf, right? And then right here it kind of disappears. I'm not exactly sure why that would have happened. When I was routing it, it should have been pretty uniform, but I guess it wasn't. So I need to sand down a bit of material to kind of make this more even. And then there's like this flat part here where I just haven't taken any material, and I kind of want to make this even more, I want to sand this down more so it kind of meets at this ridge here. And so I was looking at some other pictures of guitars with German carves, and this kind of this flat ridge, it's not always like uniform around the edge. Like around this area it kind of gets wider and then comes up. So I don't know exactly how you would do that with just normal router bits, but it's a bit more advanced. So maybe in the future I would have, if I didn't my next one, I would formulate a plan to do that. I think that'd be a little hard to do it to this guitar at this point. And again, like this kind of this shelf, I need I guess it's, you can't really see it in this light, but there's like a couple points where it kind of isn't as pronounced. So I need to sand that down. If anybody has any ideas of how to work the wood a bit quicker than just with sandpaper, to like get these shelves a little more pronounced where they're not, leave them in the comments, because I don't really know. I guess maybe like a Dremel tool with like a spherical sanding bit would make sense. I don't have any of that stuff, but I think it would make sense to get it. You could just put like a little spinny sphere in these contours and kind of work it faster. Alright, so here you can see my design file. So this is the guitar, the stock Peavey T-15. Mine was obviously refinished at some point. Here's my inspiration, the Mosrite, the Ventures Mosrite. And so this is my pick guard design. As you can see here, I need to bridge the route in the body a little bit, and then there's going to be screw holes here and here and here and here that I need to fill. But yeah, I think this definitely improves the look, at least as far as my taste goes. I mean, the Peavey definitely has kind of the Mosrite-y feel, like definitely like with this curve here, you can tell that they're kind of going for that design language. But with the German carve, it definitely looks cooler. I didn't put any effort into like modeling the contours. I just put like a bevel effect on in Photoshop. So yeah, I've been playing around with some different color scheme ideas, and so here are some ideas. I think it looks kind of cool in the red. Like if I could get like a metallic red, that would be pretty cool. And I also kind of like this blue as well, especially if I could get like a metallic blue. I think that looks really cool. But this is kind of like a classic Fender color scheme, Olympic white with a mint pickguard. Here's more like the blackguard Telecaster look, but I don't know, it looks kind of like a bumblebee or something. It's okay, especially if it was like a metallic yellow. That would be kind of cool, and with like a matte black pickguard, that'd be all right. So I really like this kind of the inverse color scheme. I think that would look really cool. Especially I've got red pearl pickguard material already, so so you just get like an Olympic white with red pearl. I think that would be really kind of cool and unique. I don't think I've ever seen a Mosrite with that, but it's kind of the inverse, and so that's what I'm leaning towards. Especially I might put like I have glitter. I might put glitter in this Olympic white area, and to just give it like a sparkle. I think that would be really cool.
So this is kind of an interesting idea. I'm probably not going to do this, but I kind of like, it's a classic hot rod kind of aesthetic to it. And this is more the color scheme I was going for with my Surfmaster guitar that I built last winter. Yeah, it's cool, but I don't think it's right for this guitar. Let's see. Again, this is kind of a classic Fender color scheme, Fender Stratocaster color scheme, Sonic Blue with a mint pickguard. And yeah, I think it looks cool, but it doesn't like, I mean, it's pretty cool, but yeah, it definitely doesn't like, it doesn't really like stand out very much to me. This is a cool color scheme. This is kind of the Kurt Cobain and Utero Mustang color scheme, the Sonic Blue with a red pickguard. I like it, but I don't think I like it as much as the Olympic white with red. And then this is what another one I'm seriously considering, is kind of leaving, because the body on mine has the wood grain with like the like kind of the remnants of the gold, and it's got this really cool kind of rustic look. And then I was thinking if I just did like a red and black kind of burst to it, and then kept like the inside this like really heavy relict stripped kind of look, I think that would look crazy. But the downside to this one is that you would see all the patches where I fill this bridge, where I bridge this route here and fill all the screw holes that are going to be left uncovered. But this is my favorite. If I can get past, if I could be okay with the patches being visible, because I don't know, there's something cool about like the relic look of like the natural finish with like the gold paint scrape marks and sanding marks still in it. Yeah, so it's mostly between this and this, and this would be with like glitter in the paint. So yeah, if you have any other ideas, leave them in the comments, or if you feel strongly about any of these color schemes, definitely leave that in the comments as well. Hey, so one thing that kind of isn't so great about this guitar, oh, that would look good with the Olympic white with the red pearl pickguard. That would definitely look cool. Anyways, so one thing that watch with this guitar, this neck, you can see it is super thin. It's like if you took a Fender neck and just didn't have a fretboard on there. But watch. Like, you don't even have to try. Just like moving the guitar around, the pitch goes up and down. So you have to be really careful not to like, because I normally play with heavier strings and on a guitars that you really dig in. But this thing is really sensitive. You have to be careful with not bending the neck at all. Just when you're playing. So if you don't want to go out of tune, you just have to be careful. And it was worse before I it was even worse before I got the neck tighter here, because it was like the alignment, you would just knock it out of alignment just kind of by grabbing the guitar. That's my style. I kind of swing a guitar around. I manhandle it quite a bit. I like to have a heavy approach to it. So this guitar, you can't really do that. You have to be a lot gentler and careful with the pitch. Otherwise, it just goes, the tuning is all over the place. All right, thanks for watching the video of my German carve. I realized when editing that together that there's a clip missing where I showed there's an slight alignment issue, which makes it so that the high E string is right on the edge of the fretboard on the high strings. So that's why I was always talking about trying to fix the alignment on the neck and the bridge. which it didn't make much sense without that context, but hopefully that explains it. And actually, so after adjusting the angle of the neck pocket so that there's and when I'm not having to use that micro tilt, I'm able to clamp the neck down tight enough that it's like stable, that I can tighten it at the right angle. Previously, it was like loose enough that like the position it would naturally settle in would always be with the high E string almost hanging off the edge, which made it really hard to play the high E string high up on the neck. Okay, so in the next video I will do the pick guards, the pickups arounds, and probably just paint it all in the next video too. So if you want to tell me what kind of color scheme you guys think would look great on this, leave it in the comments, and like and subscribe if you're into this kind of thing. I know that was a really long video. I think some people like these long videos, but I'll probably like edit together like a highlights video. I'm sorry, I should have captured the rasp thing, but I think I explained it well enough. But my battery was dead on my phone, and I couldn't really get a good angle, and you know I had to use two hands, and it's just like you wouldn't have seen anything anyways. I don't think so. But it's pretty self-explanatory. It just you just rasp it, and it, you know, get the angles you want, and that's what I did. So yeah, stay tuned. The next video will come soon. Thanks. Bye.